London is probably the easiest long weekend destination in Europe. Flight times and ticket costs are less than most other cities in Europe, and an abundance of flights from many international airports on the East Coast mean you can maximize your time with a late afternoon return flight. With just 3 days, you'll have more than enough time to marvel at London's great monuments, visit the city's world-class museums, explore its colorful neighborhoods, enjoy a fine English pint, and maybe even take a day trip out of the city. Chances are you'll be arriving in either Heathrow or Gatwick Airport. Both are well connected to the city. From Heathrow, use the tube to get nearly anywhere in London within 70 minutes. From Gatwick, you'll have to take the National Rail for about 30 minutes to London Bridge Station. Heathrow also has a national rail service via the super-fast Heathrow Express. If you book in advance and are staying in North or West London, it's a good time-saving option. Cabs to and from either airport can be pricey and may not save you that much time. Once inside the city, you'll find a well-connected and easy-to-use mass transit system, often identified by this logo. To get around the city fast, take the tube, also known as the Underground or Metro. For short trips with a good view, the city's famous red double-decker buses can't be beat. Both the Underground and the buses run on the same ticket system. You'll want to look into buying an Oyster card or a travel card. These can also be used on a series of ferries that go up and down the Thames River, as well as an overground train network that connects East London. On the trains and the ferries, tap your Oyster card when you enter and once more when you leave. On buses, you'll only need to tap once when you get on. The city also has a large fleet of traditional-looking black cabs, which run on a meter and can be hailed from the side of the road. They can be a good option at night or if you're in a hurry. A ride in one has the added benefit of feeling like a cultural experience. With 4 people splitting the cost, they may also be cheaper than the Underground. London is a big city that is both traditional and modern at the same time. Most of what we would identify as traditional London, Big Ben, Parliament, Buckingham Palace, and Westminster Abbey are in the western part of the city. If it's your first time in London, make sure one of your days is spent wandering around here. A tour of Westminster will bring out the history buff in just about anyone. And while the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace feels a little outdated, you're never too cool for a selfie with a royal horse. Just down the block from Big Ben and Westminster, past the Prime Minister's house at 10 Downing Street, is Trafalgar Square, which is the traditional center of London. Here you'll find 2 of London's best museums, the National Gallery and the Portrait Gallery. Less than a 10-minute walk away are the lights of Piccadilly Circus, the theatre district of Leicester Square, the nightlife of Soho, and Covent Garden. Across the river, with a commanding view over Big Ben, you'll find the London Eye. It's pricey, and it's not even the best view of the city, but for some reason, it's on every tourist's hit list. The district that feels the most central is known as the City. This is the business district of London, but it also houses the massive St. Paul's Cathedral, which was built by London's greatest builder, Sir Christopher Wren, after the Great Fire of 1666 destroyed an earlier church and much of the rest of the city. Along with St. Paul's and Westminster, the Tower of London is the city's third and final must-explore Old World site. The tower sits along the Thames in East London, under Tower Bridge. Construction on this fortification started in the 11th century after the Normans sailed from France and conquered England. Today, it is still a royal residence and houses an impressive collection of medieval armor and the crown jewels of England. When you're done with the Tower of London, you can hop on a ferry and take a ride down the Thames River to Canary Wharf. This is the new business district of London, reclaimed from crumbling old neighborhoods that used to make up London's Docklands. During the weekends, it's mostly deserted, but between 9 to 5, it's packed with office workers. The Museum of the Docklands provides a great look at how Canary Wharf was transformed into a modern business district. To get back to the city quickly, take the tube or the overground train. Or, better yet, stop by one of the cool old pubs along the Thames near Canary Wharf or in Wapping. There are so many different neighborhoods in London that picking one to call a home base can be challenging. We've stayed in a lot and have two favorites. Both are in East London. The first is Shoreditch, which is just east of Liverpool train station and Spitalfields Market. Shoreditch is like the Brooklyn of London, with plenty of hipsters, coffee, and street art. We've done multiple Airbnb rentals here, something we would highly recommend.
Welcome! We are in Shoreditch, or East End London. We have a fine art studio penthouse apartment, complete with a nice desk and a bed. And then over here we have, we're overlooking the street.
This is the street we are on, Hedbury Street. You'll notice the Arabic letters. Just to our right is Curry Row. It's a very artsy neighborhood, as you can see from the giant mural of a tiger. Looking to the west is London proper. Shoreditch is also home to the famous Brick Curry Lane, a road often credited with introducing curry to the Western world. If hipsters aren't your thing, then check out the area around London Bridge on the south bank of the Thames River. What makes this neighborhood so appealing is Borough Market, which might just get our vote for the world's best outdoor market. The Borough Market consists of a large number of tangled alleys full of stalls and restaurants nestled under elevated train tracks, and it's been operating here since the 13th century. Rising high above Borough Market is the tallest building in London, also known as the Shard. Many of London's buildings have strange names based on their shapes. Last time we went to London, we stayed in the Shangri-La Hotel, which is in the upper floors of the Shard. This is the view from our room on the 40th floor of the Shangri-La Hotel in the Shard. And so right across the way, we've got, I believe that's the Gherkin on the right, the kind of round pointy building, and the walkie-talkie building directly in front of us. We're right on the Thames here, a little bit down, right there is the Tower of London. Looks like it just opened for the morning. Starting to see some people file in. And of course, just next to that is Tower Bridge. London Bridge is actually directly underneath us. And off in the distance, behind, right about there, that is Canary Wharf, downriver on the Thames. And we also have the HMS Belfast parked right out front. And London Bridge is actually that fairly nondescript bridge right there. That's it for our quick overview of London, but we've just scratched the surface. You could spend 7 days in London and not make it to every museum. From the amazing and important British Museum to those covering World War II and important works of modern art, it's tempting to try and go to all of them. But if you're just here for 3 or 4 days, go to a few you're interested in, and then get outside. Walk through Hyde Park, visit the Columbia Flower Market, or explore a neighborhood off the tourist track. London is such a vibrant city, and one close enough to enjoy, even in just a few days.